Hi there, my name's Kelly and I am going to live in this 2019 Ford Transit van. Thank you so much for joining me on this intro video. I just want to take a little time to tell you about me, what I'm doing with the van, updates, and kind of just explain how I ended up choosing to live in a van. A little bit about me. I grew up in Northern California, and at 18 I left to go to the University of Missouri. Go Tigers. Upon graduating, I got a job working for Mr. Peanut. I got to drive this around the country. After that year of exploring the United States, I knew that settling in one city or place was going to be challenging for me. I did give it a try, and after that year, I moved to Dallas, Texas. I was loving my life in Dallas, and then the pandemic hit. And for so many of us, we were faced with the new reality of what do we do, what brings meaning and happiness to us. I found that being in Dallas wasn't necessarily the best fit for me, and I went to Southern Utah for an entire month. I booked an Airbnb. That's when Airbnbs were really inexpensive. I spent the whole month there hiking, exploring, and getting to know different people. And that is when I found out about van life. I met two gals who were taking their semester from Duke to travel around the US on a road trip for the entire semester. I just thought that that was the coolest type of adventure. I dove headfirst into van life. I was on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, anywhere I could get my hands on van life content. That's when I came across Divine on the Road. She's been a van lifer for the past 4 years. She had a podcast about van life, her experiences, and how to get started. And I was hooked. I listened to that podcast every day. I ended up getting another job and working through the holiday season to save enough money to buy my van. I picked up the van in January of 2021, so it's been over a year since I've had the Big Dipper, is what I'm calling it right now. So I purchased this van out of Sacramento, California. A lot of people want to know how much the van costs, how much the conversion is going to cost, all those things, and I will do a separate video about that because there's so much to talk about. I did go with a 2019 Ford Transit Extended, so I have about 4 feet extra off the back. It does make a world of difference. A lot of my friends who've lived in vans or designed vans have said, oh my gosh, you have so much extra space. And of course, as a first timer, I'm like sitting here trying to figure out, oh my gosh, I feel like I don't have enough, but I've really learned through them how to utilize the space that I have. Choosing the Ford Transit was not an easy process. I actually bought a van in Texas. I purchased it right before I was moving back to California, and it was a Ram ProMaster. It had hardwood floors, it had a fan, it had electric done. I was really excited because I was like, wow, this is a great deal. Part of it's already converted. I purchased the van, I felt really great about it, and then the dealership actually sent it to a local automotive shop down the street to get it serviced. And then I got a call from the automotive shop and I answered it. And the guy on the other end said, I'm calling about the ProMaster that was just purchased and dropped off here. I said, yes, I'm the owner of that vehicle. And he said, I don't normally do this because it really is none of my business, but I've been serving this vehicle for the past 3 years from the old owner and they have had nothing but trouble with it. And he told me to drive to the dealership and see if I can get refunded. So I've just purchased this van. I'm moving back to California and I found out it's basically a lemon. I drive to the dealership. It's within 24 hours, so they were really lenient and told me that it was no problem. They refunded me my down payment, everything, and it went really well. I was very apprehensive going forward with the rest of this van process. I test drove a bunch of different vans. I went to see vans that were already converted, and then one day I found this one. There was a 2018 as well in the same dimensions, extended, same mileage, but the difference between the 2018 and the 2019 was how it drove. The 2019 felt like a car, and 2018 drove a little bit more intense and rough. I talked to the dealership, drew up a contract, and then I had my van. So the reason I went with the Ford Transit was partially because it was available in my area. I wouldn't have to ship it. It was a good price. And I think a big part of the reason I didn't keep pursuing ProMasters was because of that bad experience. So that's a little story about how I found the van. Tell you a little bit about the build. It's definitely been a huge learning curve and a process. There are days where I am very invested and really hustling to get things done. And then some days I feel so drained or intimidated. It takes a lot for me to work on it, but the end result is going to be incredible. I'm going to have my own little home and travel around the United States, and who knows, maybe take it around the world. You can see my bed is already installed. We'll be sleeping widthwise in the van, and I am about 5'8", so sleeping widthwise will not be an issue for me. I have redesigned this build many times in my head and done so many little things here and there to change it, but I finally settled on a layout, and all of that will be coming in future videos as I build it. But right now you can kind of see what I've done so far. I did piece together some clips. Guess I'll show you what I've done so far. There's definitely a lot to go on this van, and I have to have it livable by June 1st. Definitely going to be quite hectic. I'm going to have to do a lot of work in the next 2 months, but I'm really excited to see it come together. I will be hammering away on this van, getting YouTube videos up for everyone. Just really enjoying this process. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them below. I'll definitely be more content to come, and if you don't want to miss that content, please subscribe or follow me on Instagram, TikTok. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Putting yourself out there on the internet can be a little scary. I am just really excited that you are here and that you have decided to maybe follow along on this journey with me.